Don and Gino.
Well, I'm trying to control my excitement today because what a great couple hours. I'm hoping you're paying attention. And if not, the good news is you can always find the content from our shows by going to donandgino.com. DONANDGINO.com. And you can also enter the vault, see our great guests, Scott Crayon, Jeff and Amy with Real Pro Advantage. Amy, thank you for dressing up our studio. It looks much better today. And what great topics. We were talking about credit today. We're talking about what's going on in the market. We're talking about the real numbers in real estate today because they're positive. Please don't listen to the media talking about the double bubble. Just go eat that bubble gum. That's it. It's not about the real estate industry. Trust me. And then today, we have Jeff and Amy. They are our premier short sale negotiators in our town. Totally recreated the platform here of how it's handled and really changed it from being a nightmare process that took forever to being done professionally, efficiently, and correctly. And you guys have mastered that. And again, Jeff and Amy with Real Pro Advantage. Jeff, you were alluding to Amy was smart enough to start this and help our real estate community because that's really not their job. Their job is to help you buy a home or help you sell a home and negotiate on your behalf. You took over the short sale process on their behalf, correct?
Right.
And then you hired Jeff, who I kind of had to cut you off a little bit, ran out of time, who is the insider information. Amy, well, you joined Amy. She didn't steal you.
That's right.
You chose to go to away from the dark side onto our side.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's more fun on our side.
Yeah, exactly.
We're
and
nicer.
Jeff, again, clarify a little bit of what you did, just so we'll finish our credibility piece of why you should be listening to these two when it comes to what's going on with short sales. And then we'll go into why it's really important now because that market's changing again drastically.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, the really nice and sweet and helpful guy that used to pick up the phone and call at the bank, that used to be me.
Now he's gone, so now have fun finding one.
Right, have fun finding one. So I, again, worked for several years in the mortgage servicing business, negotiating short sales on behalf of the investor. So, and Fannie, Freddie, across the board. So the company I used to work for packed up shop, California, and moved themselves off to the Midwest
and you didn't want to go there?
Didn't want to go there, and I mean, I guess there was opportunity.
You
but,
knew that cold spell was coming.
Absolutely. But again, I can't express enough how many people I worked with, and you call it for nice round numbers 100 people, and if you want to do 1,000 people, 95% of them really had no business doing what they were doing.
The negotiation process?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
And it's all because of, hey, I don't know why they wouldn't seek someone else's help. Maybe there was nobody else around to help them out. But again, Amy was one of the very few people from the get-go understood how this business works and continues to do that and adds that piece to all the agents in town.
Yeah, so it's really important that you guys have, like I said, you have changed the short sale process for all our sakes, thank goodness, and made it into a very, actually not a nightmare. It was a nightmare before. Nobody wanted it to be part of it, but it was a necessary evil that you guys have corrected and improved upon. And with that being, and Scott, I want you to go back, and I have Scott Crayon with us, one of our top mortgage professionals right here at Cherry Creek Mortgage. Thank you for joining us, Scott.
Absolutely.
You had a great question for him, and I had to cut you off a little bit because I wanted to make sure everybody understood why it's important to hear what Jeff and Amy have to say, because being the top short sale negotiators and being in depth in real estate, meaning on a daily basis, it's great people to hear from. You had a great question for him.
Yeah, well, I'll back up even a little further. Can a short sale go wrong and end up being a foreclosure?
It can.
It can.
You guys look at it; they couldn't even say it.
Yeah.
If you're dealing with somebody else,
right.
maybe.
I was going to say, if it's sitting on my desk, no.
No. But it's important.
Touche.
You've got all these what we call boomerang buyers that had previous short sales in the past that were able to avoid foreclosure. So instead of waiting 7 years, you can sometimes get back and buy as little as 1 year, in most cases at least 2 years with a larger down payment, 3 and 4 years depending on what you're dealing with. So it's cut the time down. So, I think it's important to work with someone and try to go for that short sale versus just letting that house go. I mean,
100%.
there's huge benefits to it. So I'd like you to speak to what you're seeing in the numbers out there right now, if you can. Go ahead.
So again, kind of going back a little bit to where we were talking about earlier, we were, at the end of the year we go down, and then come beginning of the year things start picking up. Tax time, oddly enough, things start getting busier after I think people deal with what they have to deal with the IRS or whatever.
Could be what taxes they owe, or property taxes, or so forth.
Sure,
Right.
something.
Okay.
It's weird. It happens again on an annual basis, and then kind of at the end of last year, I think it slowed down a lot more. People's perception of the Mortgage Debt Relief Act expiring, affecting them negatively. I think a lot of people have sat around maybe waiting for equity to come back into their property so they can sell it, on a flat or with equity or whatever. And then over the last, we call it 30 to 45 days, probably a 30 to 35% increase in short sales. Just
All right, say that one more time again, because you probably were just falling asleep in your car or not paying attention on your computer. This is imperative information. This is why you listen to the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show every week, because you get insider information. By the time this gets decimated to the public, it's going to be 2 months old. So this is really key information. So I'm going to have you repeat that again, because you guys are at the heart of it today. And that's really key.
Sure, yeah. Again, going back, it tailed off. It was slow at the beginning of the year. What's going to happen? And maybe, and I'll attribute a little bit to, maybe there are more agents that have no patience, like even less patience for a short sale now, because there are equity sales out there, and that's all they want to do. And if there's any inkling if it's going to be a short sale, maybe I just pass it off. But over the last 30 to 45 days, our business has increased 30, 35%.
So their patience is probably growing a little bit stronger because the market slowed down.
Sure.
Right. Exactly.
They're like, all right, well, short sales aren't so bad.
Right.
Well, I think
Business
they
is
thought they
business.
were going away completely, and they're not going away. They're still here.
So you guys
I
still
think
have
we're
a
gonna
job.
see- Absolutely. And this year, I think we're going to be very busy again.
Well, it's funny, there was a time, and I know you guys quite well. These are two of my great friends. I love these two because they're just wonderful people, but very smart and very great for our industry. In fact, I get to see you at Afterburn Fitness all the time. Another
Absolutely.
Afterburnian,
That's right.
who's done a great job. How much you lose, buddy?
Almost 20 pounds.
Nice, nice. And you're working your butt off. You look good.
Thank you. So do you, by the way.
Well, thank you.
But Love Fest.
But what's cool is that, I for one was concerned, going, wow, the short sales are down to only what? What, it get down to 5-8% of the market, something like that, right?
Absolutely, yep.
And then I'm like, so what are you guys gonna do?
Fortunately, we had enough. I think we were doing all the short sales
Yeah.
that were out there.
So
I
what was
kept
there
the-
was yours.
I
Okay,
kept this-
I guarantee I'd have, if any of your real estate agents want 8% of the business, show up at our door tomorrow. I think we'll be busy.
Mhm.
I think any of them will take 8% of what's out there
Right.
right now.
Yeah.
So good for you. That's because you guys are the best. So I was concerned, even myself, going, man, what are you guys going to do? And it seems like what Scott alluded to, this boomerang effect, we're getting more short sales again.
Right.
And maybe you can, Amy, can you kind of explain why that would be?
Well, I think one of the reasons that I'm seeing in talking to sellers is one of the reasons they were waiting to see where the market was going to go.
Oh,
Are
good
we
point.
going to get enough equity? Is this, we should just hold off for a little while. We could, or they're trying to do loan mods. A lot of people are trying to do loan mods. 1, 2, 3 loan mods. Well, they're putting more
The
restrictions
four-letter
on loan-
word?
Right. They're putting more restrictions on loan mods, so you can only do 1 or 2, and so then you're done. You either, you're going to have to short sell. It's going to be your best choice over a foreclosure.
Right.
So that and another people were waiting was because they're the Mortgage Debt Relief Act. I don't know if we have time to go into that
No,
right
unfortunately we don't. But you're actually going to want to stay tuned, because we'll talk about this Mortgage Debt Relief Act. If you're still underwater at all in your home, and even considering whether you should foreclose or short sell or what your options are, you want to stay tuned, because this is a key piece that Amy was just about to allude to, and Scott Crane alluded to a little earlier, about what our government is doing and our local government's doing to help protect you. And this is good news. So stay tuned, and we'll go more in depth when we come back to the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show on your hometown station, AM 1220 KCS.